All right, welcome to another episode of the Grown and Greek podcast, and I'm really excited about this episode. I know it's going to be interesting. But before we get started, let's go over the housekeeping notes. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, and then share the podcast. Of course, we're on all podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, and Amazon. And you can definitely subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on social media at Grown and Greek Podcast. So let's dive in. This episode's guests times two are co-hosts of the You Stuck With Me podcast, where they share their unfiltered journey through love, marriage, healing, and more. And before they said I do, Marquise and Taylor faced a cancer diagnosis, a mass shooting, and COVID. Cannot wait to find out. Their story reminds listeners that love is not only possible, but it's powerful. They are examples of, for young couples and seasoned ones, that you can not only survive marriage, but you can also thrive in it. Make sure that you catch the show on podcast platforms, YouTube, and of course, all over social media. And they are uniquely members of the blue and white, which is so cool. Marquise is a Sigma and Taylor is a Zeta. So please welcome to the Grown and Greek podcast, Marquise and Taylor Williams. What's good? I'm great. I'm great. Excited to talk to y'all, and I want to just dive right on in. All right. So a little bit about the podcast. Y'all are over 100 episodes in. You've been running for like 3 years or so. That's right.
That's correct.
Okay. And that's a long time, but it has helped, I'm sure, with the number one thing in a marriage is communication.
Yeah.
Putting everything on Front Street. What's been your favorite episode so far?
You gonna go first, Dave?
You can go first.
Okay. I actually have two. The very first one would be our episodes from our first season. Is called "Can I Take You Out Tonight?" And that's just the emphasis on date night. And the other one would be our live show. That was our 100th episode. So.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. What about you, Taylor?
I would say those two, but I'll add one more to the top of the list. I don't know about Marquise, but I enjoy our very first episode because it's like we see the progression of it. We started from using just our cell phones and just using whatever microphones we had around the house. So it sounds a lot of rough edits, but just over the microphone, just quoting DMX. That was just so much fun.
So in that, you've let's talk about that journey, because podcasting is not new, but it is to the masses, right? And when I think a person decides, like my background is in radio and stuff, so in terms of me like understanding like how to be on the mic and present and all of that stuff, I know from a professional rank, right? But podcasting is way more personal. Like, you're in a person's space and they're way more relaxed. They're probably going to be way more honest. And, you can take the time to really talk and get stuff out. So let's talk about that journey. Like, why did y'all decide to do a podcast about, your relationship? What sparked it?
I love getting that question.
Okay.
So, as we allude to in our podcast, we've been through, as I like to call it, through in sickness and health. It's almost death, damn near doing us apart before we said I do. And everyone in our inner circle, from like friends, family, was like, "You guys should write a book." And I'm like, I don't think we at that mindset or that age range yet that we feel like it's time to write a book, but we'll do a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I talked to Marquise about it. Actually, it was kind of his brainchild. He was like, "Well, hey, babe, let's decide to do a podcast." I'm like, "I'm down for it, but what would we call it?" So we went through a whole bunch of different names, like him and her, through sickness and in health, Marquise and Taylor, a whole lot
I think
of
we went through
names,
about like 10 names.
probably like 10 names. And
Okay.
then I was just sitting here thinking, like, you know what? What about you stuck? You stuck with me. And he was like, I like it. So it's a
Mhm.
double entendre. So my definition of how I thought of the name was that was what I told Marquise during his first round of treatments. I
Mm.
said, I can't see myself doing life without you. You need to get your ish together. So, and you're not getting rid of me. So you stuck. You stuck with me. So that's how that came about.
But
That's
it also works in other ways. Through a mass shooting, through a cancer diagnosis, through the pandemic, you stuck with me the entire time, and you could have left at any time, and you did.
so. This is over the course of how many years? Like that, the most trying time, and that's even before marriage. We'll talk about that in a second. But before, like what was that time span?
This is between 2017 and 2020.
Yeah. Okay. So 3 years there, and you guys have been married for how long?
We just celebrated 3 years in July.
So this is a 6 year of a lifelong journey together.
It's actually 8 because we were
8.
dating for 5 years, and
Okay.
then we got married in 2020. So
Okay.
We got married in
I'm sorry,
2022.
2022. I proposed in 2020.
Okay. Okay. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what came first in and I know those are 3 specific time stamps that you've had, but what came first?
So what actually came first was the cancer diagnosis. So
Okay.
I was diagnosed. I was officially diagnosed 2 days before my birthday, my 27th birthday,
Oh my gosh, when's your birthday?
September 20th.
Okay, Team Virgo, there we
Yeah,
go. Team
yeah.
Virgo.
You hear that, babe? Team Virgo.
Here we go.
All right, Taylor, we're gonna get on that last. I have to tell mine. We make your world go round, but I will digress. Go ahead, Marquise.
So around that time, and this is also a little unknown part of our journey. Um, when we started dating, I was also a contestant on Wheel of Fortune at that time.
Okay.
So about 3 weeks later, after we got back home, that's when I received the diagnosis, and I was in the hospital that first time in long recovery. It was about 3 weeks, and then I couldn't be around others because of a compromised immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first part of it. And then once I was well enough to go out in the community again. That was 2018. So 2018, we played Madden competitively, the video game.
Okay.
So
Both of you.
yes, she's actually the first woman to win a tournament game in Madden history.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sitting next to a trailblazer.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Wow. Okay. It's
So
getting more interesting by the minute. Okay.
so during that time I was playing and she was playing, and we came across the tournament, so we decided that we wanted to get involved in it. So our first tournament was 2018 in Jacksonville, Florida. So it was a 2-day tournament, and it was it wasn't round robin, single elimination the second day of the tournament. I made the single elimination, but I lost in the first round. So we decided to stick around to see who's going to win the entire thing, because the winner received $5,000. So the second day of the tournament, after playing my game, we went to looking around to see who's playing who and doing what. And she turns to me and says that she's hungry. So I'm like, okay, let's go to the pizza bar, because it was connected to a pizza bar. So while we're sitting there waiting to be served, we hear a loud pop. And everybody's looking around, and we're like, maybe that's a balloon, but it didn't take long to realize that wasn't a balloon. And it was someone shooting in the tournament. So
Wait. What?
one of the competitors shot up the tournament.
So that's where the mass shooting aspect comes in at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we made it out safely for the most part. She had a sprained ankle because once we were trying to get out, we were closer to the door than we were to the shooter. the shooter was shooting in the opposite direction. So we were trying to get out of the event space, and we were trampled over. Someone stepped on her ankle. I had cuts and bruises, but we were, for the most part, physically we're fine. But just the emotional and the mental toll, because of all the events that happened, the cancer came back.
Relapse.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I had a
gosh,
relapse.
Marquise. Okay. Okay.
So I had to go back into isolation again. And the following year, I had to have a stem cell transplant. So this is going from 2018 to 2019. So summer 2019, I had a stem cell transplant. It was successful. I'm still tight with my stem cell donor till this day. We talk every month.
Oh wow.
And once I started regaining strength and everything to go back outside, because with the stem cell transplant, I don't know if you're familiar with the most difficult parts, but it changes your body in ways that you never would have thought. I went from, in a span about 6 months, I went from 247 to 161 before I was able to gain my appetite back. But once I was well enough to go back outside into the community again, COVID-19. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, you know what? It's not something that I did, it's something that everybody's going through. But what made it difficult is because at the time she was working at a hospital, a rehab center, which with sick people, you can catch something and bring it home. So at the time I was living with my mom for recovery. So making it, my mom being my mom, God bless her soul, whenever we went to see each other, she was like, So I definitely give kudos to my mom. But during that time, I would say that it was hard, but I actually look back on it and I'm thankful for it. We're thankful for it because it gave us a way to strengthen our relationship through everything that we already been through. And then to add on COVID-19, it's like, okay, we gotta do this. We gotta do this. We had to be smart about it. So at the time, on my way to where I was receiving treatment, I could go past her house, and then even if I couldn't touch her or anything like that, I could just let her know, hey, I'm outside, and she can look down on the street and see me. So that was a plus in itself. Also, my mom didn't know that I was doing that by the time I was able to drive again. So
Right.
It was giving real baby come back.
Right.
yes.
So
So after the craziness and the pandemic started to settle down a little bit, and after a while, I started thinking about my future and what I want my future to look like. And the first thing that came out was like I didn't want to do my future without. So October 10th, 2020, I proposed to her on a rooftop overlooking Lake Michigan, and she said yes.
there was no doubt at all. I'm sure, because man,
Yeah.
what has that taught you guys about and I know, first and foremost, you have to put your trust in a line this way. But then there are your anchors on your side, and you guys are each other's anchors. What has that taught you about trusting, like the process, and trusting, knowing marriage, I guess, makes you better?
You want to answer that one, Beck?
I would say through that whole process, it just taught me how to really lean on faith and also how to be more vulnerable. And I really talk about it when we do these interviews. But prior to Marquise's diagnosis, I had went through 2 losses back to back, months apart. I had lost my grandmother in January that year, and then also I lost my mom in June of that year.
Oh wow.
So now I have that, and then now I finally have the love of my life that
Right.
I prayed for. Now he's sick. It was a lot. So just doing that trying time, it really, I say, tested my faith as a woman, and then also tested my faith as a person overall. And it also helped me discover the strength I didn't know I had.
Right.
'Cause
Right.
we hear this all the time, and then for my side of things, I don't speak for myself. There's been many a times where I hear other women tell me like, or ask me like, "You a good one? Like, how did you do
Yeah.
it?"
Yeah.
Like, I just would have. If it was me, I would have walked away. But as weird as it sounds, I never really continuously saw Marquise as sick. I always saw him as that 6'5" man that I ran into in high school, and then we reconnected at a Greek picnic.
We went to high school together.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
we went to high
Oh,
school
wow.
together as well.
Okay.
So I never really had that image of him being sick. I just knew that this is temporary.
So no interaction romantically or anything like that in high school. That was after the. Okay. Yeah. Tell the story. Come on.
So okay.
Come on.
This
I
is
hit
the
something right there. Hold up.
This
Hold
is the
up.
funny part about our story. So we met in 2006. We went to a small private high school in Chicago. That's where we're from, Chicago. So when I first met her, she was a freshman and I was a senior.
Okay.
And because our school was so small, our classes intertwined. So we didn't have like a separate freshman, separate senior gym class. So me being me, as goofy as I was in high school, she was sitting on the bleachers talking to a friend of ours, and she was like pointing out something in the gym. And the way our gym shirts were set up, they were set up like reversible T-shirts. So she was pointing, and I came like under her sleeve, and I was like, "That you need to get rid of that." But the crazy thing about it was, I actually didn't see anything. I was just being silly.
Wait, because Marquise being nice about it. Okay, Marquise
Okay.
being nice about it. So I was on the bleachers,
Okay.
and I was talking to one of my close friends who I'm still close with today, just talking junk. I don't know. And here he comes, looks under my sleeve, and is like, "That you need to fix that." I'm thinking he actually seen my underarm hair.
And I actually didn't. All I saw was arm.
But
Okay.
yeah. So I go home. My mom was like, "Well, you are at that age where you need to fix that." I was like, "Whose side are you on?" Ma'am. So after that, about a week later, Marquise comes over with, I say, his gall and audacity.
Heavy on the audacity
Okay.
to ask me out on a date.
Okay.
So he said, I was a freshman, he was a senior, so I didn't take him seriously. And
Mhm.
plus, at the same time, too, I was in a situationship.
Okay.
That's the best way to put it.
I was in a situationship, so I didn't take him seriously. At a week later, I said, I'll get back to you. A week later,
Okay, as a ninth grader, I'll get back to you. Let's go.
I'll get back to you.
Let's go.
And never did.
But
Okay.
it was the reason. I had got sick. I was out sick for a week, and then by that time, it was out of sight, out of mind, because I didn't take him seriously anyway, because he's a senior.
Mhm.
Now, and what people didn't know about me is I was actually a year ahead I was supposed to be. So I was at the age of a junior, but I was a senior.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you always hear like so many questions because this is such an interesting conversation. The talk and the requirement or whatever about submission, right, and being submissive in a relationship. I got my own thoughts or whatever about that, because I think it's relative and it works on both sides, right?
Right.
But to dispel, any kind of myths, thoughts, or whatever, just to, give your perspective about what that truly means in a relationship, especially when it's tested before it's even solidified. Like, what do you say to that?
You want to answer this one or should I?
We could both give an answer. I can start first. So it's funny that you mentioned that because we actually have these kind of talks with our friends regarding submission and, those in our inner circle. One of the things I would say is I like to call it a trigger word, and I'll describe it really quick. So a trigger word is a word that someone uses in any kind of context that triggers an emotion.
Mhm.
So submission is one, because when someone hears the word submission, it's like, I'm
Uh-uh.
not doing that. I'm not bound down to nobody
Right,
and everything like that. No.
right.
And also I feel like submission, it's subjective to the
Mhm,
person, because you
mhm,
have that one side that feels like, oh, I'm not about to bow down to anybody and be at their beck and call. Or those like myself, I think of submission as like an act of service, but not a servitude.
okay.
Does that kind of make sense a little bit? So
Yeah.
it's like I'm giving out of compassion of that I want to do it. This is how I express love, and this is how I express
Mhm,
care for a person. And it doesn't always have to be like I make him a plate of food every day. It could be something like I see he's having a bad day, I'll give him a back rub or something like that. It varies.
mhm,
And to piggyback on what you said about context, trigger words like submission, 50-50, those those have received a negative connotation or a negative vibe, a feel to them because the way that people use it. Oh,
Hmm.
I don't want to go 50-50 with a husband. It feels like a roommate. I don't want to have to submit to nobody, da 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 da. But the thing about it is, and a lot of people haven't spoke on this or have yet to speak on it, is the fact that when you find the person that you truly want to spend the rest of your life with, all of that goes out the window.
mhm,
And because you care for this person and they've been through it with you thick and thin, you don't look at it as 50-50. You look at it as that you want to go the extra mile for them just because you love them deeply. So on the stuff that we see on social media, we learn to call it the loud minority because it's only a minority people spilling the whole thing. It, it really comes down to how you feel about your person. When you find that person, you're willing to do anything and everything for them, and vice versa. It's going to be reciprocal.
You
mhm,
do what's best tailored for that relationship. So what me and Mark, we always say this on our podcast, what works for Marquise and Taylor may not work for everybody else.
mhm.
And we also say the Taylor Marquise you see now were not the same Taylor Marquise 7-8 years ago.
Oh, for sure.
What's different? What's different?
Growth, wisdom, communication, patience,
Different
being
mindset.
different mindset, being in tune with God, being in tune with each other. Because one of the things that we learn through marriage is that I'm going to submit to him as the head of the household, but I'm still going to submit to her because she's my wife. And
Mhm,
I'm always going to make sure that she's well taken care of before I take care of myself. And
mhm.
that's another thing I learned as a husband. If you're not okay with being last, then you're not ready to be married.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
I also say too, therapy has played a big role. I mentioned this on our podcast too. I'm currently in therapy. Um, when me and Marquise was on that path of planning out a wedding and talking about marriage and everything like that, I had a lack of a better word, I had to come to Jesus moment myself. I was like I don't feel my best. I don't feel 100%.
Mhm,
And I feel like I would do a disservice not only to myself but to my future husband of walking down this aisle, and I'm not. And I feel like I'm not about to present my best self, my best all
mhm,
to this marriage. And so that's one of the things I do appreciate about Marquise even to this day. I tell him that I told him that, like, hey, it's not you, it's all me. I've been through some things, some experiences, and I have some feelings that I've suppressed, and I don't want to bring this into our marriage just starting out. So I'm gonna go seek therapy to get some help so I can talk to somebody instead of him judging me like, oh,
mm,
you just crazy, what's wrong, or you just saying it's you and it's really me. He was like, how
How can I be of
the service?
service to you?
How
What do you
what
need?
do you need from me?
that's funny you say that because I was kind of having a similar conversation today about relationships and stuff and how you have your spouse and you have the person that's supposed to be your everything, your pillow talk person, the person you laugh, you mad at, whatever, right? But you do, I think it almost needs to be a requirement, to have a sounding board of some sort. Therapy is perfect, but outside of your relationship, that's not directly connected to your relationship because you aren't. your best 100% person every day, even inside of marriage. You are not, it's like impossible to be that, you know what I mean? And it's not fair. It's not fair to put all of that you need to be working out yourself on, on your person, because it makes for a very tense environment. That's just, when you just have a moment, or, can take a beat and talk to somebody or whatever about it. It just helps to, bring that level of peace. So, kudos to y'all for, and 8 years is a long time, but it's not, you know what I mean? It is, but it's not. But, through that, kudos to you for, knowing that those things are like necessary, and you putting it out there. And so, that leads me to my next question. Like, y'all say, that you're unfiltered, and authentic and stuff on the podcast, and you're, sharing everything and then some or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Do y'all check each other, and you have to hold back from checking each other in conversation? That's first question. And then the second question is, how do you balance putting those unfiltered conversations and topics out there, and also holding what's sacred to your marriage?
Can I answer the first part about checking?
Yeah.
Okay.
As for the first question about checking each other, yes, there's been times on the podcast, and it's recorded, that I have checked Marquise and he has checked me, but not in the sense of, I would say this. So it's not in the sense of like how we're at home by ourselves, how I would check him. It's not like that, but it's more of a way like, hey, babe, let's think about this in a different way. Mm-hmm. And then also too, there's been times after the recording, like, hey, you said this. I'm not trying to bash you or anything like that, but this might come out kind of like a little whack. So just so you know.
And likewise, and the thing about it is, even when we may be checking each other, you wouldn't be able to tell it the way that we speak on the podcast. Yeah. And that's one of the things that we learned about, we did premarital counseling, and I love the fact that we did it, because it taught us things that we didn't know, and it gave us the tools to avoid conflicts or common pitfalls that newly married couples would go through. But us being us, we don't really have arguments. We call them spirited debates.
Okay.
But the thing about it is, one of the things that female marriage just taught us is how to fight fair, and that's always been a thing when we have spirited debates. Neither one of us are going for the under the belt. Nobody's just going straight for the jugular, saying something that they know that they will push each other's butts. We don't do that.
Yeah, we might cuss here and there. I mean, It's not perfect, I don't
think an argument is ever going to be perfect.
Yeah, but it's never like cursing, like I'm gonna intentionally call him out his name, like that. That's one thing we don't we try not to do, like call each other out each other's name, and then we don't hit below the belt.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I'm glad that we learned when we have spirited debates, and it's something that I had to work on my end, because when we would have those, I would want to talk about it right then and there, and she would want to wait. And so I had to learn to, give her space, so she can be able to make her points, and we can come to a conclusion when she's all here, not when she's still, in the moment and she's mad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes for a quicker resolution. And we also learned that if we go a day without discussing whatever the issue was, our day goes to, excuse my French, hell.
Mm-hmm.
Hell breaks loose. Everything that goes wrong
does go wrong.
Now you guys record, like how is that? Like, do you is like your podcast space just as sacred as, like, I guess just the confines of home? And how do you like adjust? Do you feel like you are having to, not necessarily being a different person or whatever, but it's like the record button's on. So, am I being Taylor the wife today? Am I being Taylor the homegirl? Like, how do you keep that those spaces separate and sacred?
I like how you say it. So you go ahead and tell it.
So it's funny that you mentioned that because that's something we implement at home too. With our discussions, excuse me, with our discussions, it depends on how severe it is or how serious it is. For example, I will ask Marquise, I'm like, hey, babe, can you take off your appraisal hat and put on your husband hat for this? So it gives him the indication I'm not really seeking a solution as a podcast co-host or for your job title. I need my husband right now, and vice versa. And then I also use that too when we record our shows. I use it for myself. So basically, to tell you that you see here, she's a little bit more. The real Taylor is a little bit more quiet, reserved. I still make jokes here and there.
Okay.
But on the podcast, you still get the talkative Taylor, the homegirl Taylor mixed in with the wife Taylor. But I'm working on it now. I'm working on the clean talking because I'm again,
you unfiltered.
I'm unfiltered.
Yeah.
I'll say a couple cuss words here and there, but I'm working on it. God ain't done with me yet. So this season, been working more on the cleaning of the vocabulary.
But what I also learned when she says that, she will say that, hey, I need my husband, not my podcast co-host. It's another, I feel like it's another way of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Because when she says that, it says, okay, I started thinking like, okay, there's something important that she needs to tell me. There's something that she wants to discuss. And also, am I listening to her vent, or does she want my response? And when we have those discussions, I think it makes our marriage stronger. And I think it's what makes it more unique and authentic, because in your marriage, you and your significant other, y'all gonna have those inside jokes. You're gonna have those special ways that you communicate. And we're discovering that, and as we discover more, and it's getting deeper and deeper. Like, even if we're out and there's a situation going on, and we look at each other and we already know that we're having the same thoughts. And it's funny, but it's also cool that I feel like that actually is part of the meaning of to become one. So when just vibing with her and laughing with her and just sharing all the inner stories and the jokes, and I don't mind people looking at us like, what is wrong with them? Because we get it. We don't care what nobody else is saying. It's our thing. So.
So what have you guys learned about each other that, just say you didn't know before? Like, coming into it, I know you probably see each other the same way that you saw each other when you first fell in love. You're supposed to, right? Mm-hmm. But what have you learned, about each other that, you didn't, you at this point, you like, man, you kind of cool, or, what have you learned?
She's funny.
Okay.
And she doesn't claim it, but I'm not the only person who said that she's funny. And I tell her, like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it that makes it funny. And it's not like she intentionally tries to go out and be funny. That even adds to the funny. So still waiting on her to claim that one, and she knows it's true. That's the funny part.
I'm not saying that. I think I'm corny funny. So I'm not saying I could do some stand-up or anything like that. But if I'm in a room with like friends, family, or whatever, and I see something crazy, I'm going to, go for a dozen with it. As they say. But one thing I learned about Marquise, I always knew he was a very smart person, but he's like a personal Mr. Google to me. Like, he knows things.
Oh, wow. Okay. Like useless information here and there.
Useless and useful.
Okay.
Like, for example, I might say, I wonder, what happened to this basketball player? He was like, oh, this person is the A, B, and C. I'm like, how do you know that? He was like, don't ask me how I know, I just know. So,
but the funny thing is, I can say the same thing about her with music. I will see a musician or an artist that we know, and just like, I wonder what happened to this. She's like, well, that they're doing this now, this, that, and this, that. I'm like, you call me.
You are Google.
That's the funny thing. Our friends call us Mr. and Mrs. Google.
Okay. So
And you know,
I'm gonna dissect what I hear and what I see. So you two are best friends.
yes.
Okay. You finish each other's sentences sometimes.
I'm still learning to see that. It's just maybe because I'm used to it, but I've been hearing that a lot that we
Okay.
finish other sentences. So.
This is a little wisdom speaking. This is a little wisdom speaking because I'm a little older and got a few more years in mind than y'all do, but not that much. Not that much. Okay.
I'm gonna say you look like a smooth 30.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna take that. We're gonna accept all that. Amen. Amen. It don't crack. All right. Another one is you two love doing the same thing. So you're into Madden, you like music, you like joking and corny jokes and stuff.
Traveling.
All right, let me see what else I got. You like each other. You like each other and you are totally in love with each other. Like there's no like nothing is like different from when you first started. All right, you got all those things. That's 7. What's something you don't like about each other and how do you resolve that? And both of y'all tilt your head at the same time. The same way.
I got one.
Okay.
So, and this is something that I'm learning from other women in my family and my inner circle too. Marquise can have really bad tunnel vision when it comes to certain things. And that's one thing I'm learning. I'm learning, but I'm still learning at the same time. I have to learn that sometimes men process things a little bit in a different way than women. Like
absolutely.
Like one example, the best example that was given to me is like a computer. Women, we can have different tabs up and still be able to maneuver this tab, that tab at the same time, in a fast pace. Men, on the other hand, might have to have one tab up at a time. Like you have that one tab up, finish that, close it out, go to the other one. And not to say that's Marquise per se, but that was just the example that was given to me. Like I have to learn. I'm still learning, and I'm accepting that he processes things a little bit differently than me.
One thing that I don't like, there's actually 2, but one of them is minor.
One of them is what?
Minor.
Okay, minor. Okay, gotcha.
So sometimes, and I've learned that this is just the difference between men and women. Sometimes the way she feels emotionally really just kind of throws me sometimes. I'm just like, okay, you know what? She's speaking from emotion. I can't speak to her like I would speak to a guy because guys tend to lead with logic. So let me try to dissect her emotions, and sometimes it can be tricky. The other thing, which I said is minor, is that I'm a Bears fan and she's a Steelers fan.
You're what?
I'm a Bears fan and she's a Steelers fan.
Okay. How? Wait a minute. How? Like, wait a minute,
let her
Marquise.
explain that one because
No. You. How?
How am I a Bears fan?
Oh, you're a Bears fan and she's Steelers. Okay,
Yeah.
my fault. Taylor, come on. How?
Inquiring minds want to know.
First of all, I don't like how this Virgo energy.
I mean that's like the first thing, but the second thing, like what?
Okay, so let me clear this up a little bit. Okay,
Please.
this Virgo energy here, I feel it. So I am a Pittsburgh Steelers fan because that is the team that me and my mother bonded over. So she was the person that taught me everything I know about football from a touchdown to a field goal, X receiver, wide receiver, all that stuff, right? And at one point, she was a Bears fan. This was before I came along in her life. And I guess she got tired of the losing streaks. So she was like, you know what? I'm about to find me another team that fits my winning standards. So As long as I remember, she was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and that was just the team that I fell in love with too. So
Okay.
Pittsburgh Steelers reminds me of my mom. And then plus, I mean, who doesn't like Jerome Bettis? Who doesn't like Troy Polamalu with his flowing hair? You know,
Well, I have to shout out, which he's not with you guys anymore, but Najee Harris,
yeah,
a good old Alabama running back that was ripping it back in
yeah.
the day. But yeah, y'all got rid of him, and I think he's injured now. But yeah, Najee, of all of the Steelers players, Najee's my favorite one. and
I
I
respect
and
that.
I'll go down on that one. I will go down on that
I,
one.
I,
Bettis was cool. The bus was cool, and of course, like the whole lineage. But yeah, I'm a Najee Harris Steelers girl for sure. And the Bears is always gonna be legendary. So I'm with that too. But let's shift for a second, because you guys are members of the D9, and you're first fam members of the D9. Like, how first of all, did y'all know that you were, planning to become Sigma and Zeta, at the same time? Like, how was that, like, discovering that you wanted to be D9 and then the organizations that you ultimately became a part of?
Well, for me, I didn't realize it at in high school until I was a senior, and I look back at it, and I played just about every sport that we had at our
Okay.
school except for cross country. Um, just about our entire football staff were Sigmas, but I didn't realize it at the time. I saw them. They had the Sigma brand on their arms and everything, but I didn't think about it at the time. And then my parents, they went to college together, and they hung out with Sigmas while they were
Oh,
down there. So they
wow.
would take me, when they had their barbecues and stuff. They would take me and my brother, and that's when I started to get interested. And I got interested in college, but I didn't get to go. I didn't. I'm not an undergrad. I became part of the grad chapter. But ever since then, I've always been Sigma, if nothing else. So
I would say for me, it's kind of a funny story. At first, I didn't see myself as a sorority girl. I was always thought of I was gonna be the one of my beating my own drum, which I still am. But um, it was my mom. She was like,
Hmm.
you should look into joining an organization. I think you'll be a good fit for it. So, if like any person, I shopped around, I did my research, but it was something about Zeta that gravitated to me. It just gave me that feeling of that sisterhood, like the sisterhood my mom and my aunt shared.
Hmm.
And I actually became a Zeta in undergrad. So I was at a leadership retreat back in 2013, and which I met one of my sorors who really at the time I didn't know was gonna be my soror. She was like in everything. She showed a lot of leadership and like the extracurriculars she did. She was very passionate about what she did. And when I found out she was a Zeta, I started talking to her more and did more research. And then, as they say, the rest is history.
Hmm.
It was a
Well,
perfect fit.
well, I can say, and I say this like proudly, and I say it loudly. Um, I have a cousin that's is like, to me, he's the ultimate Sigma. Like, he's absolutely just a walking mascot, spokesperson, whatever. It exudes from him the love for service, the love for service, the being there at whatever call, whatever time, whatever. And to me, it's he is an example. Your organization are an example of the seriousness that comes with what we all as D9 members about to do. And so uh, that's like really cool that you are first fam members of the D9. But I know that you are taking those steps to make sure that service remains. How do you guys how has that strengthened the bond of, your relationship in terms of being married and, with the D9, and, what would you say to other couples, and the advantages, I guess, of, dating and marrying someone else that's the D9?
I would say this: do not date your brother. Do not date your brother. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. uh,
I think one of the beautiful things is that we're like-minded in and our foundation and what we believe in. So I think that's one of the things that makes our relationship stronger. And this is one of the things I love about being married to not just a Zeta, but if she wasn't a Zeta, she was a Delta, aka whatever. The fact of the matter that just being Greek, she understands parts of me that someone who's not in a sorority or fraternity does. And so when you have those things, I mean, I know a lot of people who still say, well, I didn't want to be in a frat because it's like buying friends and da 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 da. I was like, no, you could be farther from the truth. And just us being Greek and we're being married, I've introduced her to things, she's introduced me to things, I've introduced her to people and vice versa. And I think it's just one of those things that we just bond over.
Yeah, also too, besides not dating your brother, I would say no, but seriously, I say one of the things that's a benefit from it, as Marquise touched on a little bit, just having someone that's part of a Greek organization, so they understand like the time it takes for that. Like sometimes you might have to stay up some nights, working on a report, or just making sure that a fundraiser is going correctly, things of that nature. And then also too, the connections are different. So of course, it's always the stigmatism that if you're part of one D9 organization, you know everybody in that organization, right? But I'd always tell those who are not part of Greek life or a D9 organization or any type of Greek letter organization, all because I may be in that organization doesn't mean I know everybody in that organization. So I'll say the network part, aspect of it is a benefit. Like I might know some sorors that Marquise doesn't know, or Marquise might know some frat that I don't know. And then, we get into these rooms together where we talk about service projects, which is another thing too. One thing that we share is we big on service.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Helping,
I love doing service
helping
projects.
others out. Like that signal, I would say,
Like,
is that me.
when I tell you, I cannot say y'all are for real, like for real servicemen. Like had tip because you get it from the top to bottom. Service is like it's everything, and if you don't love it, you don't have a heart for it, then don't be in fraternities. It doesn't matter how big or how small your contribution is. Just be trip. So some guys are over guys also 3 years to your credit podcast. What's the goal? Say what's the biggest takeaway that you would like to get from you stuck podcast.
Well, one of the goals we would like to monetize, but also one of the other overarching goals is we want to help raise the percentage of millennials and Gen Alpha, anyone behind us or around us. We want them to see the beauty of marriage, the beauty of love, the beauty of family, because unfortunately, and not just in this country, but in this world, we're the only people who are taught to forget their history. But when you look at other nationalities, you look at our white counterparts, our Asian counterparts, our Latino counterparts, our Indian counterparts. They're married at a higher level than we are because, unfortunately, that's the way that society has, taught us how to depend on each other, look at each other as enemies. And we learned a very alarming statistic. Right now, as it stands, by the year 2030, marriage among Black people is set to be in the teens. But if you look at other nationalities, the foundation is family. And that's how they're able to accrue generational wealth. And next thing you know, 3-4 generations down the line, they're looking at old money, and we're still looking at and having these debates about 50-50 and all the crazy things that actually don't matter, and they prevent us to a degree of starting a family.
So I was asking about the what you wanted for the podcast in the end. But yeah, okay. So I got a final question. If you had to like say top 3 things, and this is always like a loaded question, but it's a necessary question. But what are the top 3 things that you would say you need to know from the other person before you marry them?
I would say what their faith is. That'd be the first one. Because their faith in what they believe in tells you a lot about that person. And it also tells you whether you two can even align, because a house divided can't stand. And the way that the world is going right now, particularly in our country, there's only one person who can help us, and that is the Lord Jesus Christ himself.
I would say the second thing would be, I would say, how do they handle conflict? Because again, we're in a society where everything is going crazy in some shape or another. And then also too, how you handle personal crisis, like those stressful moments, because marriage is not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be, oh, I love him, oh, I love her, oh, this is perfect. No. Like, how do you handle those stressful moments or those crises?
Can I add to that?
Mm.
And being able to see them in all seasons.
Yeah.
Because
I would
one
agree with
season
that
they may
one.
be
Yeah.
up, and one season they may be angry, and one season they may be sad. And and if you want to, how can you deal with those that person in all 4 seasons, and it's vice versa? How can they deal with you in all 4 seasons? It's reciprocal.
And then I say the third one would be, I would say it'd be a mixture of personal goals for like finances or the future. Now, I'm not saying that you need to have like a whole lot of money, or you need to have that perfect job. But what are your goals? Like, do you still see yourself doing that one entry level job for the rest of your life? Do you have goals of wanting to move up? Like, do you have aspirations of progressing, of moving upward, or staying stagnant? Because I feel like that's one of the things. That's one of the conversations, those tough conversations that a lot of couples steer away from.
What's your motivation?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was looking for a couple of answers, but you didn't share those. And so the ones that you shared, I would agree with them totally. That especially the all seasons, especially but what's crazy is you guys weathered a lot of those before you even said I do. So you kind of had a unfair advantage that a lot of people don't. So I would say, I'm looking forward to the 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 year married Marquise and Taylor Williams, because you guys are definitely establishing a blueprint that I hope that people will tune in and support your podcast and learn something. Shoot, because y'all doing the doggone thing. You in it, and you said yes. I'm in it. I'm stuck, and I ain't trying to get unstuck. So tell everybody, about the show, where they can catch it, when, how to follow you guys, and how to keep up.
So if you want to email us, you can email us at youstuckwithme@gmail.com. That is USTCKWITME@gmail.com. If you want to catch us on social media, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. It's all the same. You Stuck With Me _podcast. That is USTCKWITME_podcast. You can find me personally on Instagram, mine_1. That's M1NE_1. And I'm also on the app formerly known as Twitter. Beautiful, where can they find you?
You can find me on IG and the app formerly known as Twitter under Queen Points. That is PO1NTZ. Again, that is Queen Points, PO1NTZ. And you can follow the podcast on TikTok as well. Babe, you want to drop that handle?
You Stuck With Me _podcast. USTCKWITME_podcast.
And then also you can listen to our show. You can stream the shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere that you listen to your favorite shows.
And make sure that you rate, review, subscribe, and share.
And then also one little tidbit about our podcast. So our episodes, a good number of them are based on song titles, right? So as Marquise alluded, I am a music enthusiast. One of my talents is I'm a music curator. So I actually have a You Stuck With Me playlist out, basically all the songs that we sing in karaoke for these episodes. We have a variety. We go back from Luther Vandross to Kendrick Lamar to Karen White. What else we have?
You gotta have the King of Pop on there.
The King of Pop, Michael Jackson, DMX. I want to say we have the Spinners too, or that's an upcoming episode.
That's an upcoming episode.
Yeah. We go from way back to make you think like, what y'all know about that? Y'all a little young for that to the current stuff.
So yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys joining me, and you're so lovable. You're so polite, towards each other, and it's good to see that love is, and marriage is about friendship, and you can hear, the excitement in your voices, that you guys just enjoy each other, and that's good to see, and good to see folks like me that look like me that are adding to what we need in our community, and that's not only serving together but loving each other and happily doing it. And I just appreciate y'all for joining the podcast today. And of course, make sure that you not only like, subscribe, share, and comment on You Stuck With Me podcast. You can find that on podcast platforms, but you do the same for the Grown and Greek podcast. And thank you so much, Marquise and Taylor Williams, for joining me, and we'll do it again next time, y'all. You can support Grown and Greek by subscribing to the podcast, shopping our exclusive luxury accessory line, or purchasing books from the D9 Book Club by visiting our website at grownandgreekpodcast.com. Don't forget to like, comment, and share on social media at Grown and Greek Podcast. Thanks for watching.